Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's going down tonight, Thursday night in the building. Been looking forward to this all week, man. I hope y'all doing good tonight, man. I've been a little bit under the weather most of this week, man. I am getting better, man. Definitely couldn't miss tonight's show, man. The show must go on, man. So definitely looking forward to this. As you know, we got the homie Will from Royal Canadian Reptiles in the building. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight, man. But like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather. So definitely excuse me, man, if my voice get a little crackly or whatever. It's gonna be all good, man. Feeling like 97 flu game, man. Jordan in the building. 97 flu game, Bulls versus Jazz, man. So we're gonna make it happen tonight, man. Definitely appreciate all y'all tapping in with us tonight. Y'all make sure y'all show my lovely wife Takara some love, man. She always holding us down, man. She is the heartbeat of this organization, man. She keep everything running, man. So y'all make sure y'all show us some love in the comments. Don't stop there. Make sure you show the channel some love as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video on the channel. Let's take care of a few housekeeping things real quick. Where can you find us? You can find us on Morph Market. We've been uploading animals to Morph Market. Definitely, if you see something you like, holla at me, reach out, let's talk, man. Let's make a deal, man. Definitely looking to move some snakes here over the next few weeks, so definitely hit us up. Check us out on IG. You can check us out at Herp Collectors or Herp Collectors Network. Preferably check us out at Herp Collectors and Herp Collectors Network. Shoot us a follow, give us a holler, man. Love to chat, always love to talk snakes, always love to just kick it, man. Definitely check us out on Facebook as well. And then Clutch Conversations is available on all major podcast platforms. But not only that, all the shows in the Herp Collectors Network catalog are available on major podcast platforms. So definitely check us out. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. Speaking of support, if you're in this reptile industry in any shape, form, or fashion, make sure you're supporting both USARK and USARK Florida. The link for both organizations are in the description of this video. These are the organizations that are helping protect our rights as reptile keepers, protecting what we love. So definitely show them some love, man. Get you a membership, drop a dono, and make sure you spread the word about both these organizations. February 15th and 16th is going down in ATL. We got the Southeast Reptile Expo coming back at you in full effect, man. It's going to be super dope. As you know, we're going to be broadcasting live from the show. Definitely looking forward to that. The homie Keys and Wiz also going to be doing their thing, man. It's going to be a lot of heavy hitters in the building, man. So definitely make sure you check that out. You can see right now, or you can look at that vendor lineup, and you can see it's going to be a lot of dope vendors in the building. So definitely make sure you're checking that out. Really looking forward to the show, man. Last time in Atlanta was an absolute blast, and I know this time going to be even better. If you missed Retake Rundown this past Tuesday, man, you missed a real good one. So definitely make sure you go tap in and check out the replay. Really love what Dax, Tay, and Joe doing, man. They got an innovative new show format where they're bringing on a panel and they asking like a set of questions, and each one of the panelists get 3 minutes to answer, and they build on that question, man. So they really doing deep dives into the topics. This past Tuesday's episode was a blast, man. So definitely make sure you check out the replay. Coming this Monday, make sure you check out Conjure Corner. We got Jen in the building with Alex Warren from Amazing Arboreals, episode 14, man. It's going to be a super dope episode, man. So definitely make sure you tap in for that this Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, be sure to tap in for Double Clutch, man. Me and the homie Matt. This is Top Morphs Dead and Alive. This is part 2 of 2. Episode 13, we did the Dead Morphs, had a lot of fun, got a lot of feedback, and surprised some people, man. So definitely make sure you check out the replay of episode 13. But next Saturday, we're doing Alive Morphs, and so it's the other side of the spectrum. Gonna have a lot of fun with that one too. You might catch some surprises. Speaking of Double Clutch, make sure you join the Double Clutch Patreon, man. We just revamped a few things, man. It's super dope, and we actually gonna be announcing in the very near future some more Patreon benefits, man. We just looking to sweeten the pot as much as we can. We definitely appreciate all those that's rocking with us. So definitely, man, check out the Double Clutch Patreon. And then last but not least, coming up at the end of this month, we're launching a new show here on Herp Collectors Network called Grow House. We got Veronica hosting this show. She's from Ivy Plants. You may be familiar with her from Palm Street. She might have been, if you own Palm Street, she might have been the person that onboarded you. She's one of a two-person team that onboards the people at Palm Street, but she deep and heavy in the plants, man. This is going to be super cool and really love the concept for the show. They're going to talk about plants, of course, but then they're also going to talk about personal growth and the guests and their personal growth journeys, man. So I'm really looking forward to the stories and all the good stuff that's shared on that, man. It's going to be super dope, man. So definitely be looking for the announcement of the day and time coming real soon. And we're going to kick these sponsor videos, and then we will be right back. If you're looking for a Patreon that teaches you about the business of ball python breeding, then this is the Patreon for you. With 5 benefits packed tiers, you may be asking yourself, which one do I join, Big Mike? Well, if you're on the fence, I'd recommend the student tier. This is the tier that I started on almost 4 years ago, and it's only gotten better. From KINOVA University videos, live stream discussions, Morph IDs for your clutches, animal discounts, and more, this tier has what you need to get started. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Join the KINOVA Patreon today.
Art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life.
In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with wetter morphs.
Big shout out to the sponsors, man. All 3 of those guys will be in Atlanta February 15th and 16th at the Southeast Reptile Expo vending. So you know it's going to be some heat in the building. Make sure y'all check them out. Make sure you tap in with those fellas. Really appreciate y'all's support. Let's see who we got in the chat tonight. We got the homie Herbert, HB Reptiles in the building. What's good? RCR Mafia, I already know they're going to be going hard in the chats tonight, man. Appreciate you coming out. Big Matt, what's good? We got the other half of Double Clutch Dynamic Duo in the building. What's good, homie? Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie Vinny, Bone Daddy Serpents in the building. Double Clutch Patreon member. Appreciate you coming out. We got Arvin, Game of Odds in the building. Appreciate you coming out. Bosa, the Sultan of Support. Appreciate you coming out, big homie. Mr. 2%, the Pink Panther. Sammy, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming out. We got Lucky's Pythons in the building. Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie Dan, the man, in the building. We got another one of the sponsors in the building. My brother, Jason, Ancestral Royal Pythons. Appreciate you coming out, big homie. James, All City Serpents in the building. Appreciate you coming out. What's good, Fred? What's up, Cuzzo? Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie Dun Dada in the building, man. He got a new show coming on the Whiskey Bomb Network coming up this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called Everyday Keepers. It should be really dope, man. Definitely making sure the Everyday Keepers get represented, and I know the homie Don gonna do it right. Appreciate you coming out. Florida in the building. What's good? Corey in the building. Appreciate you coming out, brother. Jay Slithers, what's good? Appreciate you coming out. Mark and Tiffany in the building. Appreciate you coming out. And we got TFN, Fat Man Nation _ Shauna, what's good, sis? The Sultaness of Support. Appreciate you coming out. And we're going to stop it right there. We're going to get the intro, and then we'll be right back here in a few minutes.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
Episode 158, Royal Canadian Reptiles in the building. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, bro?
Good, man. Like I said, like I was telling you behind stage, man, getting over a little flu, but it's all good, man.
Yeah, it seems to be going around. It's the time, you know? It's the time of year. I've got one myself, a little bit.
Yeah, it's some real nasty stuff going on around here, but definitely glad I'm feeling better, man. Definitely super thankful for that, man, and looking forward to tonight's show. Appreciate you coming on.
For sure. No, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. It's always a good time, man. Every time I have you on the show, man, you always drop some gems. You known for keeping it real and just sharing like some interesting insight in the building, man. So definitely happy to have you back in, man. Definitely happy to looking forward to picking your brain.
And Dylan's calling my ass out.
Who is that?
I appreciate it, Dylan. I don't know if you saw me like messing around with the controller. I had the hockey game on and I had to switch it back. I couldn't figure out how to get it back. Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. It's always fun coming on. It's always fun just talking shop, I talk snakes all day. It's always fun.
Yeah, for sure, man. I probably talk snakes too much, man. I'll be on the phone with somebody, planning to be on there like 10 minutes, and next thing you know, like 2 hours has passed.
Oh yeah.
Like I was talking to Brandon the other day, man, and I looked up, man, it had been 3.5 hours. Like Nixon's Reptiles.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I did that this week too. I don't know who I was talking to. Maybe Mark Bailey, maybe. No, it was Jake Milbrandt.
Okay.
We were laughing about, well, I don't know how much of a joke it is. This whole like Canada becoming a 51st state and all this shit. He's like, so what are you gonna do? What's the first thing you're gonna do? I was like, man, I'm gonna offer overnight shipping. Are you kidding me? This is great. Like, I'm cool with it. There's some things we gotta work out, but hey, man, we're close enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, man. So let's hop right into it, man. So I want to start off with a little bit of market talk, man. So it's like all the chatter and whatnot about the market. Some people say the market's dead. Some people say it's oversaturated. Some people kind of neutral, and they're like, hey, things are like coming back, like prices are stabilizing and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see like where you stand on where the current market is today.
So I think there's some ways to go before we get back to where I don't. It's such a weird dynamic because about half of our market right now is that they have less than 5 years in the industry, right? So if you have less than 5 years in the industry, all you know is 2020 on, and that's COVID and all. That's COVID on. And I was breeding snakes, and lots of people in the chat, and you can talk to lots of other guys who were breeding snakes and doing this well before COVID, a decade before COVID. And it was never like it was during 2020 to 2023. Like those 3 years were like, pardon my French, but they were fucking nuts. Like we were selling snakes left, right, and center. People didn't care about pictures. I want it. Do you have 10? How many will you take? Like, can I get a package? Can you like? I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And that was never like that in 2018, at least not for me. 2018, 2019, 17, 16. You know, so that was it never felt, that was never like the true heartbeat of the market. It was this like bump of this crazy like just you know, mountain, and after every peak comes a valley, right? And you're gonna have this crazy run up of pricing and people getting in and all that stuff. And let's be serious, every single business that's out there, like only like I read some stat the other day. It was like, I want to say it was like 5% of businesses make it like 8 years or something like that. So for our 100 people that get in, if your intention is to be a functioning business, then the general rule, there's going to be about 8 out of 100 or 5 out of 100 or something left after 5 or 8 years or something. And so you see that, and this doesn't feel like anything crazy to me. Like, yes, it's discouraging, and I totally get why people, you know, sit there and are discouraged about it. I've been like that myself. You know, I've looked at prices and been like, Jesus Christ, like what the fuck? Like this, Megan, that's not worth it. But I think we have lost our way a little bit as a market, and as an industry, specifically in the ball python world. I think we've kind of lost our way. When you know, if I look back to 2015, 2016, 2017, stuff was expensive because it was cool. And now it feels like stuff is cool because it's expensive. And that's the wrong way to look at things. You know, I look around at a lot of stuff being made and a lot of stuff that's put out onto the market, which is, to be honest, like some of it doesn't look that good. Like, let's be serious. I'm not saying everything I make is amazing. Like, I make a lot of dogs, man. There's a lot of stuff, you know? So it just happens. But just because it's hard to make doesn't mean it should be expensive. And I think we kind of got sidetracked and kind of lost our way there. I think we need to get back to reality and back to, you know, just having fun, breed snakes. Like at the end of the day, if you're paying bills, if you're paying paying your bills and keeping your hobby afloat, hey, like really, not every single person that comes into ball pythons needs to be a business, needs to have a business name, needs to be doing YouTube videos, needs to be like, you can just have snakes and enjoy them. Like that's totally cool. And you can totally just breed snakes and people will start to recognize you for the snakes that you produce. It just becomes this, it's almost like this, we're in this like crazy time where it's like, I see, you know that Spider-Man meme with the two Spider-Man like pointing fingers at each other?
Pointing at each other, yeah.
Yeah. It's like this weird thing in the market right now where like the bigger breeders, a lot of people are pointing fingers at bigger breeders saying, you're producing too much, that's causing the market to crash. And then the bigger breeders are pointing their finger back and being like, my income has dropped by 65%. I have to produce more to make up for that. You know, I'm running a business at the end of the day. And like I have to the government say, yes, this business is profitable and it is functioning. And I can't just like be like, well, I don't sell anything this year, that's okay. Like that doesn't work as in business, right? That just doesn't work. So, but there has to be a middle ground. This, you know, I think a lot of people got in over their heads. A lot of people spent a lot of money, and everybody thought this was going to stick around forever. And the reality is that like, it shouldn't be normal to be selling snakes at $12,000. Like that's crazy. That was never a thing. The fact that in a certain year, you know, I sold more $10,000 snakes in 3 months than I had in a decade.
Oh, wow.
Like legit in 3 months, boom, 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 boom. Prices, everybody just taking snakes. I was sitting back like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't even know what is going on. It's it was just weird. So I don't know. I think we will get back to a stabilized market. I don't think that's an issue at all. I don't see that being a problem whatsoever. It might take some time. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of people exit the industry because some people will come into this and realize this is, oh man, I spent $50,000 and I thought I was going to make 300. It's like, well, why? What made you think that? You know what I mean? Like, what? I just don't. That thinking doesn't really apply to like any other business or any other investment or anything else. Like outside of, like I've said this before, like outside of some crazy ass crypto pump, like where can you put 50 grand and make 300? Because like people would be doing that all the time. You know what I mean?
Fact.
Like,
yeah,
it would just be a thing. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the market will go. I think you're going to see a lot of people exit, which, hey, I mean, that's just the natural life cycle of the industry. People get in, people get out. I've had tons of buddies that have got in, got out. Still great friends with them. It has nothing to do with it. It just wasn't for them. And you have to really determine whether this is for you. There's a lot of stuff here where it's, are you willing to kind of be housebound? Are you willing to kind of sacrifice a lot of travel? Are you willing to do the hours and hours of rodent cleaning and feeding and changing snake waters and do all that work while there is no reward? Are you willing to do that?
Hey, real quick, Will. I thought it was just me, and maybe it's both of us, but I noticed somebody mentioned it in the chat. It's like a gurgling sound to the audio. I don't know if it's both of us. Y'all definitely let us know in the chat. Takar, if you see somebody, you'll pull it up and let us know.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It might just been my mic just off my head a bit.
It's doing it again now.
Is it? That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
I don't hear it.
It wasn't doing it before the show though.
Hang on one sec. That any better?
Yeah, talk again.
Yep. Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear it now. Yeah,
you're good?
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like it's fixed now. Okay. Sorry. You were saying?
Internet. Where were we? What were we just saying?
You was talking about people who had got out and stuff like that. So we probably gonna have some people exit and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see people exit, no question. That you're already seeing it, right? And it's not that they're. I think there's something that, man, it's a tough one because like I hate to see people exit the way that they are. I hate to see that, but at the same time, it's kind of what the industry needs, really. There's a lot of people. There's like almost that's expression. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. It kind of feels like that right now, and I think people are. Gonna exit. You're gonna see it. It's exactly, Matt. It's a huge fucking grind. This is not a get rich quick scheme. And if it is, I'm fucked up, man, because it's not working, bro. But yeah, the days in the rat room, the days cleaning, the days washing tubs, and just being able to do that over and over and over. Especially when the sales aren't there or when the reward doesn't feel like it's there, that's draining on people. People just say like, this isn't for me. I'm gonna go back to work. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do something different. And hey, man, maybe that's what they need to do. I don't know. Everyone's different. Everyone's got a different situation. I have no idea, but it's a tough market out there, especially that middle side of that middle section of the market. Now, the other thing that I don't think people talk enough about is the economy is not in great shape, right? Let's be honest. Across the board, people are having things cost more. There's been inflation, this whole thing. And I don't think we really give enough credit to how important that pet market is. Because we as the high end guys and guys who are always trying to push the envelope with stuff, which most people in the chat would fall into that category. Everyone's always trying to make new combos or the newest thing. And where does all that byproduct go, right? That all trickles down into the pet market. And so when the pet market, when the average household is saying, oh man, maybe we shouldn't spend that extra $500 that we normally would have spent on a ball python or a whatever reptile that they wanted, a pet, something like that. when that market starts to like shrink, all that byproduct, you have so much buildup of you have excess availability. It's I don't look at this as any different than any other kind of like hobby, really. Like, I'm sure if you looked at the last 3 years of, I don't know, people who sell remote control cars, right? Little gas RC cars, ones that rip around super fast, they're fun as hell. But I bet you if you looked at their sales over the last 3 years, or from 2020 to now, they'd be insane. They'd be like, oh, this is our best year, second best. Our next year was the next best year, and the third year was the next best year, and then a very, very sharp decline where people don't have that extra bit of money to say, I'm going to get an RC car or just do, whatever the hell people do with their money. I don't know. But I think they're probably going to be much more, 2025 sales will probably be much more in line with like your 2016, 2017, 2018. It'd be much more normal.
Gotcha.
I was never producing stuff that was just flying off the shelf. It was never like that. It wasn't like I posted a picture and had 30 fucking people messaging me about the same snake. When that happens, you're kind of like, hang on, is this snake super special or is something else wrong? Like, what's going on in the market right now? It was a weird time. And I think a lot of people got used to that. And that's so when you're used to that inflated market, when you come back down to a depressed market from normal, it feels exasperated. It's amplified, right? Because let's be serious, a DG Clown, I made a DG Clown in like 2017. I sold one in 2018 for like $6,000. And then by 2020, they were $15,000. So they were never really a $15,000 snake. That's the reality, is that they never were 15 grand. If it had never done that like shoot up in price, people today would be like, oh, that's not bad. Like if you said, hey, I have a morph in a combo in 2017 that in 2020 that it's $6,000, that in 2025 is going to be $1,500. I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty. That I'm surprised it held that much value. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think people just were not accounting for that like bubble, and the real price was in that like 6,000 range, and then it went up to 15, but then corrected itself back down below that 5,000 range. And had it have just stayed at $5,000, people wouldn't be freaking out at all about their DG Clown like purchases. So it's this kind of weird. It's this weird thing where I don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody does. I'm just along for the ride, just like everybody else. In the meantime, I'm just gonna try and make some cool shit. That's really all I can do. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. Thinking back to like when you first got in and kind of like the people that you were cool with. You brought up, you mentioned it earlier, but kind of thinking about like kind of like your circle like back then and the people you were familiar with, because I know for me over the past 5 years now, like I've seen like a lot of changes. So if you had to like guesstimate, it don't have to be anything exact obviously, but if you were to like guesstimate like how much turnover there was like since then in terms of like people that were in then and subsequently got out.
80%.
At least 80%. Wow. Yeah. And you got in when?
I started buying snakes in like 2000. I bought my first pair, and I think I produced my first clutch in 2009.
Okay.
I had snakes like 2007, 2008, that kind of range. But yeah, since then, absolutely, yeah, like at least 80% of the names that I knew, and like guys that I looked when I came in, I was like, oh my god, they're like the top guy. And then you see them like, hey, everything's got to go, get it out of my house. Like, oh, that's okay. Maybe things weren't going as well as it seemed, But at the end of the day, you cannot do this unless you like it. And that's the question I think 100%. Everyone's got to ask themselves. Do you like this because the money is there when it's there? Or do you like this because it's actually something you like doing? You have to be honest with yourself. Don't worry about the views, the clicks. Who gives a shit? Be honest with yourself. Like, is this what I really want to be doing? And if you can answer that yes, then you're going to be fine. But if you're sitting there saying like, this just isn't really what I want. I don't want a garage full of rats, and I don't want all this work, and I don't want, then dude, nothing wrong with it. Like, I get it. I, of all people, fucking understand. When I have to go to the rat room, I'm kind of like, someone call me, like, just anything, just distract, like anything that I can not to go there, you know? But it's just the, you know, you have to, consistency wins in this game. It's just the way it goes. So
yeah, passion is a word that's like used a lot. Like, I even used it in like the title of this video, but really, I mean, it's really like fundamental, you know what I'm saying, for this, because like you have to have some passion about it. Like, you have to actually like doing this to be able to commit to doing this. Like you say, like with the rodents, I mean, that's a grind in and of itself. Like,
yeah, anybody who breeds rodents, they'll understand. You know, I'm sure there's days where you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Every time.
Hey, like, they're living animals. They have to get cleaned. They have to get watered. They have to be fed. It's not something you can say, I'll do it tomorrow. And that's one of the things that like really this business does for me, because if it weren't live animals, if it was like I had to go like which actually I'm sure lots of people watching are fully aware, anything that's not like super important for the like husbandry side of things, I'll push off. Oh, you have an availability list? Yeah, I'll get you one. Never, I'll get around to it. But the rats, I can't just be like, oh, I'll just do them tomorrow, or fuck it, I'll do it next week. It's not, you have to hold yourself accountable. And that's the part of the thing with living animals that actually works really well with my personality, is that I can't push it off, because otherwise I'd procrastinate the shit out of everything I do. So but with the husbandry, you can't. It's not an option. It's a like
non-negotiable.
No,
non-negotiable, or it should be non-negotiable.
Well, that's okay. Then you're getting into a totally different conversation. That's okay. Get rid of them. Like, stop. You know, it's not fair to the animal. Like,
100%.
It's non-negotiable whether I have to feed my dog in the morning. You know, that's not a negotiable thing. It's not like, oh, I'll just feed her tomorrow. No, of course not. That's ridiculous. But you know, that absolutely has to come first.
100%. I want to back up to something you said that was real interesting that I picked up on. You said like it was an interesting like shift in like how the industry is right now, where stuff back in the day, it was expensive because it looked cool, and now you feel like stuff is cool now because of it's expensive. Like, expand on that.
Well, if you look around, like, you look at the rest of the reptile industry, like, if you really like, we live in a vacuum, or in a little ball python bubble, so we don't, I mean, some people do, but I'm not sure how many people like really look out to the other species that are being kept and all the sort of things that like people do. And if you look around the other side of the reptile world, the expensive stuff is generally like the really cool stuff, you know? And I feel like the ball pythons have maybe migrated more towards it's a commodity to a lot of people. It's just a number in a bin. It's not like I'm really excited about this project. It's more, I'm excited about how much this project can generate. How much money can I make from this project? And that's just, you've just lost your way if that's the way you're looking at your breeding program. It just make cool stuff. Like, that's the reality. Just like, honestly, like, just make cool shit and people will like it. People will want it. And if you make something that's cool enough, it will demand a good price tag on it. But we have sort of shifted away to like, oh, it's expensive, so it's cool. Like, it's almost like that. I don't know, man. Like, kind of like reminds me like the Cybertruck. Like, it's the ugliest fucking thing on the road.
Ugly,
people
bro.
love it, but it's just like, it's not that cool, man. It's ugly as shit. Not to say that like there's some things about the Cybertruck that I think are neat, but that maybe that's a bad example. But we look at price first in a lot of times. Like, a new gene could come out and it could be $100. People would just glaze over it. They'd be like, yeah, it's shit, it's useless, it's garbage. What? It could be the craziest shit in the world. It's $100. But just because it's $100, people will just be like, nope, it's garbage, dead project. Why? What makes it dead? What? Because you haven't taken it, because it has a $100 price tag. But if you took that exact same animal, you put a $10,000 price tag on it, you'd have people be like, well, what is it? How does that work? Well, what's it? You know, It's just the way that goes. And that's what I mean about it's cool because it's expensive. Whereas you take a Amazon basin, for example, you know, beautiful, beautiful animals, like the Ferrari of the snakes, some people call them. Those are expensive because they're one, there's multiple reasons. They're hard to breed. The production level's low, all that sort of thing. But they're expensive because they're so fucking cool. Nobody walks by a basin and is like, meh. Everyone's like, holy shit. And when you make the ball python that does that, that's an expensive ball python, or it should be.
Right.
But I mean, man, walk around Tinley, you see, no offense to anybody. I'm myself, we do the exact same thing. But just because you walk around Tinley and you see price tags on $5,000 on like patternless snakes, it's like, dude, I get it. The potential is there. But like, I don't even want to buy that and bring it home and raise it. Like, I don't want that in my rack. I've raised enough normals. I've raised enough Enchies. I've done that. I don't really want to keep that sort of stuff. And I just think that's kind of where we're at. Like, I think we kind of have to get back down to the, like, I like this because it looks fucking good. And 100%. At the end of the day, that transcends everything in the market. If you make snakes that look good consistently and you blow people's minds and people are like, holy shit, that thing, I've never seen anything that looks like that, dude, you're gonna do well. Like, across the board, you'll do well. And I don't think it's any species is any different. If you take hognose and you make the craziest looking thing, yeah, it's gonna be expensive because it's cool, right? But we've migrated kind of to it's cool, but it's because it's expensive is why it's cool. You can't actually tell me why, and I'm not going to name projects or people, no way. But I can tell you that there are snakes out there that are listed for significant money, and Matt, say Pine's making a comeback. Straight up, it might, bro. It might.
It's coming back, bro.
But we have this habit of, oh, it's cheap, so it's worth nothing. It's garbage, Gene. It's nothing. It's a ridiculous way to think.
What do you think led to that shift in mindset?
COVID. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't like 2016, 2017, 2015. Stuff was expensive because it was cool. Not because it wasn't cool because it was expensive. It was, you know, it was the other way around. And let's be serious. There is a little bit of there's a bit of a market hangover happening right now, where part of the other thing that I worry about personally is everything's gotten cool, so nothing's cool. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
When I was starting out, you know, we'd see the spot nose clown, like, whoa, like, what the heck? Like, I remember seeing the first like highways, freeways, super stripes, hatching my first super Mojave. I was like, oh my god, that's a white snake. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. And we've been almost like desensitized to how cool some of this stuff actually is. So yeah, I think it'll be fine as long as you've got the wherewithal and that mental strength to be like, dude, the days I don't want to work, I'm gonna work. The days it has to happen. I think everyone's gonna be fine. Now you will see people get out. Absolutely.
100%.
To be honest, I don't think keeping other people having other species is a bad thing. I've heard people like I've probably seen I've got some monitors and I got some other stuff. And people say, oh, this is, you're getting distracted, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, in fact, it's the opposite. I find that those have given me a complete reinvigoration of keeping animals again. It was like at the end of the day, like when I started getting ball pythons, it was because I liked them. It wasn't just money. It never started with money. It wasn't I'm going to start a business. It was like, dude, if I take a Mojave and I breed it to the Matt Mojave, I can make a snake that's white. First of all, I couldn't afford a super Mojave, so I had to get Mojaves, grow them up, make them. But the other stuff, it was through and through in the beginning. I liked reptiles in general. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I only liked ball pythons. Now, over the last decade or more, I've kind of lost, it's not that I've lost sight of it, but I've lost sight of the fact that like I like all reptiles. It's not like there's one reptile that I'm only going to keep ball pythons. No, I don't think so. So I've been having a lot of fun working with monitors, and I have some other lizards and a couple other snakes, and I'm having an absolute fucking blast again. And there was a time where I was like starting to get like, man, I keep coming into this room. I'm a reptile guy, and I come into this room and it's all racking systems. It's there. I don't see anything. There's no plants. There's no life. There's no like, it's just barren tubs, cypress, water bowl, snake in the back, which, hey, they work fucking awesome for ball pythons. They're great systems for keeping ball pythons. It's just like a species specific thing. But walking into the room and seeing a tree monitor jumping around and crawling around and running up your arm for a roach and stuff like that, it's just like, it gives you that like feel like a kid again, you know, like Jurassic Park moment, or like that thing at the zoo where you're like that kid on the glass looking at something. Like it gives you that sort of feeling again. And I don't know. I think maybe realize why you're in this. And maybe that's the question people have to ask themselves. Why are you doing this? Is it because you love it? Then you're good. If you can say I love doing this, you're mint. You're gonna be fine. If you're saying I'm doing this because it's strictly for money, there's better ways to make money. A lot better ways. In fact, I should probably do some of them. But it's Travis, please do. If we can figure out a way to make it happen, I'm in. But I think we just gotta get back to having fun, get back to like kicking it, get back to just chilling out. Like, it's not that serious. We just breed snakes. It's not like, it's easy. It's easy to get down on this industry. It's so easy to get discouraged, especially right now. And I'm not immune to it. I've absolutely been discouraged. I've walked into my room and be like, man, it doesn't matter what the fuck I hatch. Who cares? No one cares. It's fuck this. I have my days. But through and through, I love what I do. And at the end of the day, if you can say that, then you're already winning. So
100%, man. Like I was saying, it's got to be that passion that like really push you through it. And admittedly, like, so when I got in, the COVID market was the very first thing that I was exposed to, right?
Sure.
And I kind of thought that's how it always was, like very early on, like in keeping and breeding or getting into like the industry side of things. At the beginning, I kind of thought that was how it was. But then once I started like making connections with people who had been in it for a while, like before COVID, I started learning more and more about it. You know what I mean? And I knew that it wasn't always like this. I knew that there were going to be like these cycles where, things might be popping for one cycle, and then another cycle is not popping. It's like I started learning that stuff. But even with learning that stuff, kind of like seeing the drop off from COVID to like when it like stuff really started plummeting, like that was really still like a bit of a shock, you know what I mean? Like kind of a culture shock, just because I hadn't been through it, and it was like so drastic, right?
It was.
And so it was just kind of crazy, and it's hard, like even understanding like all that, it's still kind of hard to not think about how the stuff was when you first came in, because I mean that was really kind of the foundation, you know what I'm saying, of like what I learned when I first got in terms of like how the industry was then and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely understand now, like it's ups and downs. And at the end of the day, man, it's fun, right? And it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. Like you were saying, man, like, are you okay with being like committed to being home and stuff like that? It's a lot, man, because like travel and stuff like that, you really have to plan that kind of stuff. Like even like, for example, going to like a show, right? I'm going to a show. You kind of got to like work everything around that and like change up kind of like your routine and stuff like that. So it's a lot that you have to manage. And if it wasn't something that I really enjoyed doing, I would probably have gotten out, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's something I really enjoy doing. Definitely enjoy like kicking it with my people and stuff like that. And so it's a lot of fun element in it. And that's part of what keeps me going. It's like really just the fun and just loving the game, man.
And that's what it's got to be, right? Love of the game. That's the best quote I think I've heard of describing it. It's you have to like what you do, because you can say to me, you can make all the money in the world breeding bunnies, and I'd be like, yeah, but like I don't really want to. I don't have this passion for rabbits. It's not a thing. I wasn't a kid being like, oh, I want to get a pet rat or a pet rabbit. I was like, no, I want a pet lizard or I want a snake. I wanted something cool. And yeah, I think we've just kind of lost. I think a lot of the market, not everybody, absolutely not everybody, but I think some of the market has definitely lost sight of, dude, I've heard people refer like, oh, the snake's a piece of shit. Like, I was like, what? Like it's, and I understand what they're saying. It's not that they hate the animal or that the animal's being abused. None of that. The animal doesn't eat, or it's giving them a hard time. It doesn't want to breed. And I understand what they're saying, but like, I would never refer to my dog as that piece of shit. Like, no, that's my dog, man. Like, you know what I mean? And I just see this. It's almost like we've turned stuff into commodities. Like it's like it's a pair of shoes instead of a living thing. And
right,
you gotta just remember that. You just have to, like, every day you go in your room, like, yo, these are up to me to take care of. If I don't take care of them, they're all gonna die. You know what I mean? And you have to be committed to it. And
100%.
Luckily, ball pythons are really easy to take care of, like really, really easy. So, it's not they have their minor issues here and there, but as a general species, like, holy, you can't ask for a more, I don't know, I don't want to say a tank, but they're a pretty tough snake. They can go through a lot. Pretty hardy. They're pretty hardy. Yeah. They can, I mean, you start looking at some other species and you're like off by a couple of degrees and it's got an RI. It's like, oh, what the hell just happened? Whereas the ball python's like, man, they're pretty tough. They're pretty tough, pretty resilient. So I just think that and it'll all work itself out. This is, and I can't predict what's going to happen. I'm not an economist. I don't know what's going to happen on the global scale and the economy. Like, I'm just a cog in the wheel too, So, just put snakes in tubs, man. That's really all I do.
And I agree.
It's not that serious. This whole, there's like this level of like celebrity in this industry that I just roll my eyes at, because it's like, bro, that guy just puts fancier snakes in tubs. It's really all it is, man. It's not that serious. As long as you could put food on the table, have a roof over your head, hey, bro, it's all good. I was talking with my dad. Shit, I don't know. This is 3 months ago. It was like just one of those days where I was just like, man, I think I had like some flooded rat tubs and then a couple snakes that had bad sheds. It was just like one of those days where it's like, fuck this. And my dad was like, all right, fuck it. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, sell them all. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, go back to work. Just go back to work. I was like, oh, fuck no. And he's like, yeah, so you don't hate it that much. He's like, you're just bitching. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm just bitching. Like, yeah. I was like, no. I'm good. I like what I do. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get your ass called out like that. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with you too. Like, as far as like the economy, like that plays a huge role in it. Like the pet side of the industry is really the foundation. You know what I'm saying? Once they start buying animals,
everything else up.
Exactly. And then like
it does.
They give those breeders money to then go give breeders money for like other projects, and it just kind of like works its way up, kind of like trickle up in a lot of ways, right? And so that's hugely important too.
And like, let's be serious. I'd be willing to bet that the majority of people who are breeding ball pythons today started off getting a ball python as a pet, and then realized, oh wow, look at the colors there. Oh wow, look at the colors there. So if you have that huge portion of the market that is, let's say you chop that by 50%, like 50% less pet ball pythons sell this year. So if you chop that by 50%, then you're exposing 50% less people, because somebody gets I don't know, let's say they go buy a banana at a what do you guys have? PetSmart, Petco, whatever.
Yeah, both.
They go to a Petco or their local reptile shop or whatever, and they get themselves a banana. Well, they're going to go home and they're going to research how to take care of a ball python. They're going to come up on YouTube videos. They're going to start seeing all the different colors and the same shit that happened to me. I had no idea there was this world of morphs in ball pythons. I got one as a pet I had one as a kid, but then when I was in university, I got another one, and I came home and it was kind of like Like I was the dickhead, to be honest. I was the one like the 40-gallon tank with just like coconut on the bottom and like one stick and like a lamp. And I was like, there's my ball python, you know? And I got home and like ball python care, ball python husbandry. And I realized like, hang on a second, this is probably not the best setup for it. So we switched to a tub setup and the whole thing. But in that process, I found like, oh, wow, what the hell is that? Why isn't mine white with a patch on it? Like a pied, or that one's an albino, or the clowns, or the, you know, even like the banana. Like I was blown away, and I ended up going and getting some more, and then, you know, breeding them and how to have a little success, and that taste of success just kind of snowballed, and you just get addicted, right? And it's been we're pushing almost 2 decades of addiction here. Like this is, I could quit whenever I want. You know, that's what everyone says. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where things are going to go. It's I don't know. I have no clue where to take it. I just know that dude, I got so many projects that I haven't seen through. I got stuff that I want to make, and even if these things were worth $50 tomorrow, I'd still breed ball pythons. So
do you think there's more opportunity in the international market than what's kind of currently being leveraged?
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like we kind of look at, without being rude, and I don't mean this to come across as harsh, but like it kind of needs to be like, some people need to look at their own business, the effort they're putting into it, and be like, why would a guy in South Korea decide to reach out to me and buy something? What have I to put myself in front of them to do that? And I think a lot of this comes back down to like how good you are as a salesperson and how good you are at marketing. That is a major aspect of breeding snakes. I mean, you could have the craziest looking snakes, although I have to say that's not exactly true, because there's lots of guys out there. I would give Mark Bailey one. I would consider him in that. I would consider probably Jake Milbrandt in that. You don't see YouTube videos. You don't see this. These guys make the craziest shit, and they're sell out every year. So, and then they produce way more clutches than I do. And I like look up to both of those guys. Those are both like really good dudes, and they make incredible stuff. Half the time, without, you know, a few years ago, this is like I had an adult DG clown at the time. And I was talking to Mark Bailey. He's like, hey man, what do you think I should breed to a spot nose DG clown? And I was like, oh, I don't know, man. That's a pretty good male. He's like, no, it's female. And at the time I was like, what? You have a spot nose DG clown adult female? And he's like, yeah, man, I made it like 3 years ago. And I was like, what the fuck? You didn't post that. He's like, no, I don't post everything. And like, there's a lot of guys out there that do that kind of stuff, you know, just like, oh yeah, I made it. I like it. It's for me. It's in my breeding program. Nobody needs to know about this shit. I'm just going to breed it and put it in my bin. You know, it's not for sale. What's the point of marketing it? So going back to your question, yes, there's a huge opportunity in international sales. That's probably, I mean, if you looked at my business, it would be like all of it is international. I sell, I don't know, if I sell 300 snakes a year, I sell like 7 in Canada. So I'm
considering Canada part of the
very
United
little.
States. For this question, I'm considering Canada part of the United States.
Okay. So, well then I guess most of my sales would be in the United States. Joel, what's up, dude? How you been?
State 48 was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a little bit. But internationally, like I send a couple boxes to Japan a year. Some stuff into Europe once in a while. Not a ton. Sometimes it's just because it's more of a pain in the ass than it's worth for certain things. Not to say that I wouldn't do it again, but you know, if somebody's like, hey, I want to get one puzzle, it's like, but I could sell that to the States like pretty fast. And I have already 40 snakes going there, and it's going to be easy, just add it to the shipment. Whereas if it's one puzzle going to Germany, it's like, oh man, I have to do a CITES permit to Germany just for one snake. Do you want to pay $1,500 in shipping fees and all this sort of thing? And you know, now if a guy in Germany says I'll take 40 snakes, yeah, sure, I'll do a CITES today. So it just kind of, but yes, there is a big international market, and this market's not going anywhere. That's for sure. I've heard some guys say like, oh, ball pythons are dead. And I'm like, well, if ball pythons are dead, then the entire reptile industry is dead. Because as long as people like reptiles, ball pythons will always be the number one pet. You maybe have moved on to maybe something you consider more intermediate or more advanced type of species, and we do have these reptile elitists. I keep this, so I'm better than you. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you still keep a snake in a box. Like, chill. But yeah, I think there's as long as the reptile industry exists, the ball python's always going to be number one. Comes in so many colors. They're easy to keep. They're tough. They don't get that big, and you can handle like basically every single one. There isn't really a ball python that I don't know that I wouldn't be comfortable picking up. You know what I mean? Like, I could go to anyone's collection, like, hey, can you pick her up? Be like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm not worried about it. Whereas I don't know if I could answer that same thing if you put me in a room full of like large colubrids. Like, hey, can you grab that Crebo? I'd be like, I don't know, man. I'm not sure I want to do that. So that right there tells me that doesn't make a good pet for the masses. Don't get me wrong, Crebos are super cool. I'd love to keep one again, but it's as far as ball pythons go, like they're not going anywhere, man. No way. I'll take that to the grave. That I just don't see another reptile coming in that can possibly even consider replacing ball pythons. Not even close.
I don't see it either.
No,
just in my opinion. Like, granted, I am a little biased, but there's some logic behind that.
I think there's some variety is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. That's again, like I was saying, keep another reptile. Hey, yeah, you're a reptile keeper. Like, it's totally normal. But to sit here and think that there's going to be another species that's going to like overtake the ball python, you got to come back down to planet Earth here. Look at the numbers, look at the market share, look at what the ball python is, and you ain't gonna replace a ball python. No way.
So people talk a lot about kind of the supply of ball pythons, how it's like 40,000 on Morph Market or whatever the number is this week. So given that it's like such a big supply of ball pythons and it's a whole bunch of ball python breeders, right? What do you think people got to do to really kind of stand out? Just
everything else. It's all the other things. It's not just the snake. The snakes, you almost have to take the snakes like you have to almost consider them. I hate to say don't treat them like a commodity, but when you're talking in this situation, like, think of them like a commodity. Like, just because I have all these running shoes here doesn't mean I'm going to sell out of them. What do I have to do to convince people and put eyes on the running shoes that I have? And that's the marketing. That's the push behind the business. It's I don't know. Yeah, David Blue Tongue Skinks could blow up, but to think that blue tongue skinks are going to be like replace a ball python, no way, bro. No fucking way. I love skinks. I love blue tongues. They're super cool, but just like, you know what I mean? We have to be real here. 40,000 ball pythons available on Morph Market seems like fuck all to me. That's not even that many of ball pythons. Like, I would hazard a guess. I don't know how many he produced this year. I don't know for sure, but how many clutches do you think Justin produced this year? Just
probably about 220.
220. So there's just from him, there's probably somewhere in the range of like 1,500 to 1,800 ball pythons out of the 40,000 that are available. Now, some of those have already sold, blah, blah, blah. 40,000 ball pythons on an international market, even a North American market. There's like 400 million people in North America. You have 40,000 ball pythons. That's nothing. Nothing. It's reality. How many beta fish do you think are for sale in North America? Probably 300,000. Like, stupid amount.
At least.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't see this 40,000 number as like this like crazy thing. Don't forget, Petco, like, a lot of stuff will get scooped up and wholesaled and moved and I don't know the numbers. I'd love to know them. I'd love to know how many ball pythons Petco buys a year. Just Petco. I'd love to know how many they pick up a year. just to sell.
Yeah, they probably pick up more than what's on Morph Market right now.
They might. I was going to say probably close to 10,000.
Oh, you think so?
My guess was 10,000. So their response, they could Petco alone could take 25% of the supply off the market like that. Like there's no problem here. 40,000 ball pythons doesn't. Now the other thing is 40,000 ball pythons. We look at that as like, oh my God, there's so many snakes available because I'm accustomed to producing 300 snakes a year. So I see 40,000. I'm like, holy shit. There are farms that like there are facilities that produce, several thousand clutches of ball pythons a year. That's a real thing. Or at least it was. I don't know if they're still doing it. But so several thousand clutches. Now you're talking like that one person could be producing 6,000 to 12,000 ball pythons in a season. So they're moving them. It's just the people, and the other thing is look on Morph Market and how many ball pythons are there? Sure, 40,000. How many ball pythons are there that you want to add into your breeding program? I don't know. I only got that number's a lot smaller than 40,000.
A lot smaller.
For me, that number's like 40. Maybe I would consider these 40 animals on the website right now. So that still tells me that just because you have a huge supply doesn't mean that. I guess it depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to sell to the pet market? Are you going to do the deli cup table like show circuit type of thing, or are you trying to sell in that middle of the market, or are you trying to sell like that really high end? Like where do you slot in? Like there's room for everyone at every level. It's not one's better than the other. There is no difference for me to make a DGA Xanthic Clown Pied as there is for me to make a super pastel. There's no difference. The same work, the same input, the same effort, the same raising, the same amount of cleaning, the same amount of feedings, the same amount of pairings. It's the same shit. It's the exact same thing. So to like look at people who make in the pet market and kind of like turn your nose up at them, it's like this ridiculous notion because it's like if your snake didn't have a stripe on it, you'd be in the exact same boat. So it's not that they're doing anything different than you are. So where's this elitist mentality coming from? Like, get over yourself. Like Jesus Christ. I don't know. I seem to get along with most everybody because whether you're making bumblebees or whether you're making DJs or confusion clowns, I understand the work that goes into it. And you like the species, you want to work with it. Hey man, that's cool. Let's talk about snakes. Sure. Let's get a beer.
So last time you was on the show, you talked about the flood of the pet market by everybody like chasing multi-recessives. And so I want to dig into that a little bit more, but real quick, we're going to take a sponsor break and then we'll pick that up when we get back.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Here's to the exciting world of Ebony and Ivory reptiles. From unforgettable parties and events to keeping and hatching some of the dopest reptiles in the reptile hobby, we're all about education, quality, integrity, and respect. Hit us up and see how we can help make your next project a reality. Experience Ebony and Ivory Reptiles, where fascination meets fun.
Ebony and Ivory Reptiles.
Damn, dude, you throw out commercials, bro. Those are straight up commercials. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to have fun with those, man. It's a lot of fun, man, putting those together and seeing what people think.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, so last time we talked about it a little bit, and you talked about like the flood of the pet market, because like everybody chasing like multi-recessive combos, and I get why. But you mentioned like some projects gonna be like wholesale, like a DG clown. In X amount of years, it's gonna be a wholesale animal, and so on and so forth. So deep dive into that a little bit, and to give us your thoughts on it, and then let's talk about like what do you think? What's the solution?
Just the natural progression of the industry. There is no solution. It's the way it's going to be. It's accept it. It's just the way it's going to happen. You know, I remember bananas at 60 grand. If I had said at that time, hey man, eventually a banana is going to be a wholesale animal, people would be like, you're fucking nuts. Like, no, yeah, like 100%, like less than 10 years later, it is. So what makes a DG clown any different? Now we can say that, oh, because it's a double recessive, it's harder to hit. It's not. It was. It's not anymore. That's what people really need to really wrap their head around with recessive projects. Once you get those projects, the first ones are, yeah, they're tough. Like 1 in 16, triple het to triple het, quad hets. Those are tough to hit. As soon as you start making visual het to visual het, like your odds are pretty damn good. So I just don't see a path for, you know, I'll take it a step further. DG Axanthic clowns will be wholesale animals at one point. When? I don't know, but it will be. There will come a time where I put a DG Axanthic clown in a wholesale box. I guarantee it. People don't want to hear it.
Think about. That's crazy.
It's true. It's true. If you have DG Axanthic het clowns, and right now that sounds like a really high end, you know, like that's a pinnacle project in the industry right now. But the reality is once you have, if you give me a DG Axanthic clown and, you know, give me 5 years with it, like, bro, I can make a lot of them, like a lot, you know, and have lots of stuff in it. It's not that they're hard to make. Double visual to double visual is 100% double visuals. Triple to triple is 100% triples. And you start to get into like quads and pentas and all this shit. One of the things that I think is likely going to happen, I don't know if this is for sure, people are going to start to migrate away from the quad recessives and the triple recessives and really focus on the good ones. Just smacking recessive genes together. But bro, we're going to get into like ugly ass snakes in no time. You have to be very selective about which genes you want coming forward. And I think you have to we have to get back to more of like an artistry rather than a just slam recessives together and that's all that matters. Like that sucks, you know. No, like to be honest, that just bores the shit out of me. I want to find new interactions with genes. I want to see, you know, oh, that this project that everyone says doesn't work. What if I put that gene in it? Like it's the curiosity killed the cat, because for sure I get fucked on lots of clutches where I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't work. You know, it happens, but I have to have that, like, that's why I keep them. That's why the genetics aspect is the most interesting thing about ball pythons for me. And having those, you know, having the ability to mix genes and have fun doing that. Like, yeah, that's what I'm all of. That's what I'm in it for. That's what I love about it. You know, I just see this triple and quad chasing game as like a zero-sum game. If you're early, you'll do really well, and if you're late, you're just gonna be like everything else. You were early at a DG clown, yeah, you did well with them. You're trying to sell DG clowns now. People are like, everyone already has them. Well, what makes us think that adding Axanthic is this, like, you know, solution to like, oh, this will hold value forever? No, it won't. There's 3 genes that are really cheap on their own. VPI, Axanthic, Clown, and Desert Ghost. Like, these have been around for the dawn of time. You know, these are not new genes. So the fact that they're actually valued at where they are today is incredible. Like, thinking back, what, you know, you could have had Axanthics, and I don't know the exact years, but I want to say early 2000s, you could have had a Axanthic, a Desert Ghost, and a Clown. I would hazard to guess. And now I may be off by a couple years, or 5 or 6 years or something like that. But yeah, you know, I think that you're going to see, just because it's a quad recessive or just because it's a triple recessive doesn't mean, to me, that's kind of like, it's great. They look cool. The first couple ones that you make, you're like, oh wow, like the odds, the adversity, like I had to make these hats. Don't get me wrong, doing that is fun as hell. Like hitting the odds and getting those snakes that's a wicked feeling. But to think that a DG Axanthic clown or a DG Hypo puzzle or a DG Axanthic puzzle, which hasn't even been made yet to my knowledge, eventually that will be a wholesale snake too. Let's be real. It will. There's no way around it. I just don't see a path where it doesn't happen.
So I might have said this last time too. We talked about this a little bit because I always said, like, when we started talking about like multi-recessive projects, like for me, the value in those projects is working in the codoms so you can hit really cool combos in those multi-recessive projects, right? Like, for example, DG Clown, Hypo Clown, just whatever project you work in.
Sure, you add, I don't know, Hurricane, Wookie, Red Stripe to a DG Hypo Clown. Yeah, you got a valuable snake there. For sure.
100%.
Very, very valuable snake. But I think the other thing is that like the co-dominant side of the market has not been explored. Like really not been explored. We did this thing, or especially like kind of as I was getting in, was kind of like the codom craze. Obviously before I was in, there was like the real like Wild Wild West, like 25K pins and stuff like that. I wasn't around for that, but sounds like it was cool. You know, but we got to this point in the codom world where we were stacking too much. It was just like we put so much together. Like if you go watch Nerd's old videos, not a shot at Nerd, makes some cool stuff, but it was like Hidden Gene, Woma, Fader, Yellow Belly, Granite, this, that, Enchi, so Odium, and I was like, what the fuck? That thing is like white, man. How do you ID any of this shit? Now Kevin's got an eye for stuff. I'm sure he's pretty close, you know. But but we kind of put too much together, and then we sort of just dumped on the codoms that, okay, well now it's recessives, and now we have to add recessives to the now we have to add incomplete dominance to the recessives in order to make those cool. But I don't think many people have like gone to it and looked at it like, what is a DG clown? What is a DG Axanthic clown? It's a triple super. It's a homozygous 100%. Version of VPI Axanthic and clown, or sorry, DG VPI Axanthic and clown all together, right? So this is all great. It's an amazing, cool snake, but that's the exact same odds as making a Super Hurricane, Super Orange Dream, White Lace. Exact same odds, exact same difficulty level, exact same everything. Especially with shed testing, now it's the exact same. There's no difference between a Super Pastel, Super Enchi, whatever. Pick another gene with a super in it. Like you can make the ugliest snake, but that snake is just as hard to make as the DG Axanthic clown is. And so 100%. What that tells me is that there's so many more options. We have not gone into the industry, into the market yet and started to say like, okay, I'm going to start a project, or I haven't seen many people. Some people do it for sure, but I haven't seen many people go in and say like, okay, let's say, I don't know. I'll just pick, I've used this example before. I think black lace or super blackhead white lace is going to look dope, like super dope. And then you can take that, and that is your new DG clown. Now I add Enchi to it. Now I add Yellow Belly to it. Now I have, okay, so I have a super blackhead, white lace, Enchi Yellow Belly. That is your Enchi Yellow Belly DG clown. And people aren't thinking that way. At least I don't see many people talking about it. The allelic combinations, there's an entirely new, there's so many fucking combinations and so much cool shit. Like, dude, I made a black pastel Enchi last year that I was like, what the fuck is this? Like one of the coolest snakes I hatched all season. And I hatched DG puzzles, I hatched DG Axanthics, I hatched all that shit. And this black pastel Enchi combo, I was like, what, bro, I'm keeping it. Like, no way I'm selling that. It's a male. I'm literally breeding a black pastel Enchi combo het clown male. In my collection, that should be a double visual het for this or het for that. But I'm like, yo, this thing's way too pretty. I want to make puzzles that look like this. Fuck the hypo, fuck the DG. I just want to make puzzles that look like this. Or I want to make hypos that look like this. Fuck the DG and the puzzle and the clown and the tri-stripe. And like, I don't need to have everything in all at once. There's so much out there that's so like, it's such low hanging fruit. And people are like, I have to pick that fucking apple that's the highest one on the tree. Dude, there's lots of pretty snakes. Start making stuff that looks cool. Keep your stuff that looks cool. You'll be all right. Totally.
100%. Big shout out to Mike Blackheart.
Oh, what's up, Mike?
Appreciate the super chat. Said he couldn't agree more. Coat arms for the win and for the fun of it. The recessive train will eventually derail.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll derail per se. Like, it won't just like evaporate. But once everybody has all the recessives in their collection, which is, let's be serious, is happening at a rate that is way faster than it ever has. If I look in the last 10 years, the amount of clowns and clown pieds and hypo clown pieds and DG hypo clowns and all this shit that was like a pipe dream 10 years ago is now a reality with like adult animals that are producing, multi-gene combo recessives. What do you think is going to happen 10 years from now? Everyone's going to have like quadruple recessive adult females and all this sort of thing, everyone's gonna have yes. All right, fuck it, man. Send me one, dude. I'll take one. Fuck it. Send one up. But I know you got some.
You want tomorrow, bro.
Yeah. I do have a hat. I do have one hat, so I could use a male, I guess. But I think there's a lot of stuff in Codon worlds. Like, I think you could take this just to super asphalt alone, and okay, I'm gonna add spot nose, super asphalt spot nose. I'm gonna add lace. I'm gonna add what, like, and I'm not saying like just stack fire and G and pastel. We've kind of done that. We've seen that, But there's so many new genes out there, and new genes pop up every single day. So I just don't see I don't see a path where this industry isn't around forever. I really don't.
Yeah, it's so much stuff to do.
I forgot the 40. I was reading that 43,000 other hypoclone. Yeah, 100%, 100%. You're not wrong at all. Same thing. I could say the same thing for the DG clown or the hypo DGs or all that stuff. I see this. I work DG puzzle. It's one of my favorite projects, and I see this massive push in the industry. Like, I gotta get hypo DG puzzle. Like, and I'm just like I've only made like 3 DG puzzle combos, and we're already like, fuck DG puzzle, gotta be hypo. It's like, bro, chill the fuck out, man. Like, what the fuck, like it's, and
it moves so fast, bro. It's like,
yeah, but it's cool because it's expensive. That is what that is. Not it's expensive because it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love hypo DG puzzle. I think it's a great project. Tons of legs, but we haven't even seen the puzzle combos, and we're already like, no, don't care, hypo puzzle or hypo DG puzzle or nothing. And it's like, whoa, chill, man. And hey, if you want to chase that road, be my guest. That's great. But I'm in a position where I can make hypo DG puzzles, and I'm not even sure I'm going to. I'm really like, you know what? I'm gonna put the right genes into it. I think we really, really have to get back to that. Designing a combo. Like, this is the vision I have for the project. This is what I want to see materialize from it, and I'm gonna use the ingredients I have to try and make that vision materialize. And I think we got to get back to that artistry of breeding snakes. Not just, oh well, it's got 3 recessive genes, so it's worth a ton of money. Like, well, okay, cool. I'll give you a lavender G-stripe axanthic. It's not worth shit, man. Like, let's be real. Not that it might be a cool looking thing. I don't know. G-stripe snow. But we got to get back to like the really, I'm designing a snake. I'm designing this. Like, this is my vision for what this project's going to be. Not just how many recessives can I smash into the microwave, like just like how many can we get in there and hit start, it's, I don't know. I think you get back to like the love of it, man, and like just the enjoyment, and you'll be fine. And to be honest, not everyone's gonna make it. They just won't.
Yeah.
But the ones who do,
that now.
The market's not getting smaller, regardless of what the economy does. The market's not getting smaller. It's not like less people are like, I like ball python. I don't like ball pythons anymore. It's like, you might have a few people that say that. You might have a few people that are like, you know what, like, I got into the ball python, and I've talked to some people that have absolutely like admitted it. Like, look, I got in because I did see the money. I was kind of blinded by that. My real passion has always been, I don't know, salamanders, you know? And they're like, I'm gonna start working with salamanders. And I'm like, you know what, dude? You're gonna be way happier. You're gonna like what you do. You're gonna love it. You know, if somebody said to me like, you got to breed hamsters, but they're worth a bunch of money, they'd be like, dude, no, like, no, I'm good, man. I'm chill. I don't want to breed hamsters, you know, unless my ball pythons will eat them, and then I might. But you know, so I just think we got to get back to the enjoy what you do.
100%, 100%. So Josh mentioned that shed testing had escalated the projects like a lot, and that's actually like a good segue into one of the things I want to ask you. So like when shed testing like first came out, like you were pretty vocal about your thoughts on like what it would do to the industry, what it would do to the market. You did say you was going to do it anyway because you had to really to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like looking back, that's been what, like 2.5 years now with shed testing over these last 2.5 years. Do you feel like it's doing exactly what you thought it was going to do?
I feel like it has, yeah. I do. I think it has put pressure on. It's added some parity to the market. Like there's you know, smaller breeders are able to make stuff that they normally wouldn't have been able to make, but it really helps the big guys. Really, truthfully, the small guys, it helps. It gives you the illusion of it's helping. And this isn't again shed testing. I love the idea. I love the genetics aspect, and like, yo, Charlie, you're able to like find the gene for monsoon and like test for it, and that's so cool. Like, it's such a cool concept. What I think it's gonna do, and I think already has done, is it just pushes everything down. Because what it has done in the past, the genes that everybody ran to recessives as shelter from the codon world, which was very volatile, which was like, you know, bananas were 50K, then they were 20K, then they were 3K, then they were free. You know, it was, it happened like that. And so people kind of like moved over to the recessive world to like shelter themselves from that. Shed testing made every single recessive an incomplete dominant again, because a recessive it's a super. It's a het. I can pick out a banana, but I can't pick out a het clown. But for $25 or $50, I can. And so it's turned the het clown into a banana. And that's exactly what's happening. And you just see it happen faster and faster and faster and faster. Dude, I can give you an example. I bred 2 clutches of quad het DGA Xanthic clown pied to DGA Xanthic clown pied, right? Normally, 5 years ago, I'd have bred those clutches and I'd been like, wow, I got a clown pied, got a DG clown, got an Axanthic pied, got a DG Xanthic. Okay, which one's het for what? I have no clue. I'm going to have to test breed all this shit. I'm not going to know what's what. I shed tested it. The luck I got on that clutch was absurd. I ended up with a DG clown, double het Axanthic pied, all females too. A DG Axanthic, double het clown pied, a clown pied, double het clown pied, double het DG Axanthic, and an Axanthic pied, double het DG clown. I shouldn't know that. What does that do? I had a lot of pushback when I said this is going to speed things up. People said, well, no, it doesn't, because you still have to grow them up and all this. It's like, yeah, you've clearly not bred ball pythons very long, because if I know exactly which animals are hets, it speeds things up a lot, like a lot. You know, otherwise, normally I would have had to do it the long way. The prove it out. Oh my God, the thing proved that clown. What the fuck? I didn't know it was that clown. Like, you had that happen. Now I already know before they've had their second shed that DG Xanthic is double het clown pied. That's a male. It's going into my rack. I'm keeping it. He's getting fed very well. He's going to be breeding in 6 months. He'll be coming over here. That speeds things up fast, man. Like way faster than people really give it credit for. And when you have guys shed testing every single full panel testing every single animal they make, surprises happen, you know? And I think that puts I think it alienates a big portion of the market. I think it's kind of almost like an unfair advantage. Not unfair, because everyone can do it. So it's not an unfair situation, but it's almost like I don't know, it's like a situation where the big guys are gonna take leaps and bounds. The small guys take big steps. The big guys are in a convertible going 100 miles an hour. Like, it's not catchable. It feels like.
You mean because they have like more resources to get more
they
stuff?
have numbers. They have numbers of snakes, and that matters big time in when you're shed testing. That matters huge. This is realistically, odds is just a giant probability game. It's just the statistics. Like, was it 1 in 36? Is it 1 in 30? Is it 1 in 64? Is it 1 in 128? What are the odds to hit this? And being able to normally throw quad hets or whatever you put together and then say, like, nope, that's exactly what this is. That's exactly what that is. I know that's het. Well, that changes things very, very quickly. It also kind of takes the fun out of it. If you're a guy that's like, I don't want to shed test and I want to do this, like, I want to prove stuff out and I want to do it like how we've always done it, you're at a fucking huge disadvantage. Like, huge disadvantage. Especially if this is going to be like something you're kind of hoping that it's going to pay back a little bit. Then you better be shed testing, bro, because you got to. By the time you prove stuff out, we're already onto the next project. You're like, wait, what? We're already there. It's like, it happens so quick. And yeah, like, now don't get me wrong. I think shed testing is a very cool concept. I do it all the time. Like, shit, man, I probably spent 15 grand in shed testing this year. Like, it's a lot. But at the end of the day, the leaps and bounds that my collection took because I knew that snake is actually het for this and this one's not. Man, like, it's a different thing. It's just a totally different world. Like, there's stuff that I'm keeping that I normally, like, that snake normally would have been wholesaled. But it's like, oh, wait a second. That, and I'm actually breeding differently because of shed testing. I'm actually breeding specifically with shed testing in mind, knowing I can test for stuff. I'm preemptively breeding het monsoon stuff. I bought 2 quad het DGA Xanthic monsoon clown males. And I'm running them to like all my DG clowns, DGA Xanthics, clown pied combo, or Xanthic pied stuff, like anything I have that's like that double recessive with genes in it. And I know that by the time I start hatching all these babies, there will be a monsoon test. I know that. That's like for sure.
Yeah, I don't think they're too far away from it.
What's that?
I said I don't think they are too far away from the monsoon test.
Even if it's 2 years, I'll have the animals hatched. I'll have it ready. I'll have it be good to go. I'll keep the pos het monsoons. They will still be DG clown het pie there. Well, they will still be good animals, but they're also pos het monsoon. And then, it definitely does that sort of, like, all of a sudden you shed test, boom, I know this animal, they're all in the one project, they all work together, okay, boom, there you are, you're into DJ Xanthic monsoon clowns, and within like a 3 in between 3 and 5 year period, where I don't know that if you said to me now, or if you said to me last year with no shed testing, how long would it take you to make a DJ Xanthic monsoon? I'd say, it's going to be a minute. I don't have an adult monsoon. I don't have a breeder male monsoon. I don't have a breeder female DJ Xanthic. I'd have to raise a monsoon, put DJ Xanthics, get triple hets, grow them up, and then get wildly lucky. Where now I don't even need the luck. Honestly, the luck is numbers beat luck.
Yeah,
and yeah, just kind of the way problem with one of the issues I see with the industry is you're not gonna the big breeders, the big producers, and now I'm talking like 150 and up. 50 clutches, like, yeah, okay, like you can get lucky, but you can also get screwed. The big producers are at they really are at a big advantage, just especially because of just numbers. In the past, there was a little bit more. They had a huge advantage in numbers, but there was also the opportunity for people to buy pos hets and prove stuff out, and that seems like it's gone. It's either het or it's not, which is the reality of the situation. that things are either het or not, but we weren't able to pick out this combo 66. I remember buying like this crazy red stripe, yellow belly, hurricane, NG het clown, or 66% het clown as a baby. I got a good deal on her. I grew her up. Boom, she proved out. I was like, no way, that feeling is fun. Proving stuff out was like, super dope. Like one of the best feelings ever, especially when you proved out on both ends. Posset to posset. Boom, there it is, It's great, but I feel like that's gone in the market. Are people breeding possets anymore? If they are, it's just because they're breeding into a visual clown and that's the way they would go anyway. But are people really trying with possets still? I don't know. I really don't know.
Sometimes when I see possets on Morph Market, like where I know
of them, right? Now you second guess them. You're like, yo, that guy shed tested that, and it's not. The shit out of that. That's fucked up. That sucks. Because I can't sell possets that are truly fucking posset. I don't want to shed test every single animal. But, people are like, oh, he probably shed tested it and he knows. Like, no, dude, I just fed it and I want to get rid of it. Like, I don't know.
Like, I know everybody's not doing that, but I know some people probably are doing that, but you never know. You know what I mean?
They ruin it for everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah, he shed tested the shit out of that. That ain't posset.
There's some good things that came with shed testing. There's some great things that came from it. All these arguments about these genes are different and blah, 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 that's all just died right down. Hurricane, trick, whatever, same shit. Banana, coral glow, same shit. Phantom lesser, same shit. DG enhancer, test the exact fucking same. Like, there's so you can only stand and argue so much that these are different genes until the science says like, no, dude, they're the exact same shit. Okay, then everybody just agrees, and it just goes and the market continues. Don't worry about if it's the same or not the same. That's a great benefit of shed testing. I think that's one of the things that is amazing about shed testing is, it's unfortunate that trick was, $200 and hurricanes were 6,000. Anybody with their eyes open, we're kind of like, wait a second, that looks the exact same. I should probably buy that. Now, it also comes back down to, has that line of hurricane been line bred? Have you been keeping the best examples? Blah, 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 blah. But this is the kind of thing I mean, that it's cool because it's expensive. That's it. Because you could have bought a trick or what's the other one? Trick,
hurricane, blitz. Yeah.
You could have bought one of those for several $100s when the hurricanes were, $5,000 and $6,000. So 10 times the price for the exact same gene. But people overlooked it. People overlooked it and went to the hurricane because the big guys were saying hurricane's the best thing in the world. It's marketing. Like, it's really all it comes down to.
And I got
not to say that hurricane's not a great gene. I fucking love hurricane. I like blitz. I like trick. I personally work with hurricane. They are considered, I still call it hurricane. That's what I bought it as. That's somebody has taken that gene and line bred it and worked with it. Not all genes are created the same, right? Just because I have Orange Dream and you have Orange Dream doesn't mean that they're the exact same. Mine could look like shit and yours is like super high intensity, like crazy orange, good contrast, Mine could just be like a standard pet store OD, and hey, are they the same gene? Yeah, they'll shed test the same, but the reality is that yours looks better, and that's the thing that matters.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, man, I got some trick stuff that I put up against a lot of hurricane stuff, man, because it's just a really, really nice example. Like I had something like it wasn't even like a super complex combo, but it was trick, cypress, clown, just two codons and clown. Looks nuts.
I bet. Yeah, dude, I made some some of this. One that I think has tons of potential to make beautiful snakes, but I don't see it made much. What's that? Because and this is one of the things is that we have clown glasses on market as a general rule, looks at everything with clown glasses. They're like, yep, that's going to work in clown. And if a combo doesn't work in clown, people are like, no good. But cypress red stripe in clown, not my favorite thing. Outside of clown, one of the best interactions between two genes that I can think of. And a few years back, I made a Wookiee Cypress Red Stripe. It was a chocolate Cypress Red Stripe, essentially. Although I guess Wookiee and chocolate test differently, so I guess there's that. But one of the coolest fucking snakes I made on the year. Not the most expensive snake, not the most, desirable snake, but visually, it was one of those snakes that I was just like, dude, this is next level cool. And it sold like instantly. It was a very, very easy snake to sell because of how it looked. It was het clown, but I asked the guy, I'm like, are you gonna put that into clown? He's like, no, man, I can't be bothered. And it's like it's a allelic combo with the red stripe on there, because Cypress and Wookiee are allelic, and then the red stripe in there, and it just had this like cool reaction. It had that like Cypress red stripe look, but like this underlying darkness from the Wookiee. It was just I don't see. Like you could take Cypress red stripe. Here's a perfect example for someone out there who doesn't want to follow the rat race of ball pythons. Cypress and red stripe. You start mixing hypo in there. You start mixing lace in there. You start mixing darker jeans, blackhead. Like you could just run Cypress red stripe stuff for like 5 years easily. I personally really believe that.
Yeah, it's
beautiful,
crazy.
Beautiful combos. They look so good. That
Cypress red stripe interaction is just crazy. Like you wouldn't expect that.
Right.
And you would think they were allelic, but they're not. It's just like a crazy interaction. I mean, kind of like GHI and Mojave, how it just like do something just nuts just because, or just how they work together. It's just one of those type. Did you freeze? Hey, it looks like Will is frozen, or either I'm frozen. Can y'all hear me? Can everybody hear me? Somebody let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Just Will. Okay, appreciate you, bro. But yeah, man, like I was saying, like that Cypress red stripe interaction is absolutely insane. And putting it with something like hypo, like that would be crazy. Like the one that Justin hatched, Justin Thomas from Armless Angels, he hatched like a Cypress red stripe leopard yellow belly, like female, like one of the most insane snakes that I've ever seen. It's just like a 4-gene codom combo. Just looks absolutely nuts, man. Definitely agree with that. Let me see if I can tap in real quick.
I'm here.
There we go. Welcome back, bro.
Sorry about that, bro. I don't know what happened. Just I could hear you still being like, he's frozen, but
for real?
Both videos just went out. I don't know what that was.
I was like, damn, did I say some stupid shit? Because like you was just like looking. I was like, oh, he frozen.
He just left. Yeah. No. But yeah, I forget what we were talking about. Cypress red stripe. I think there's lots of gene interactions out there that are very similar, not similar looking, but do similar cool stuff together, and we just don't see enough people working with them. Yeah,
100%, man. Thinking outside the box, like you say, man. Getting back to like that artistry, like and designing snakes at the end of the day. So getting back to like some of the business side of things, right? Earlier you were talking about like people getting burnt out, like stretching themselves too thin, stuff like that. So what do you think are like some like huge red flags of people like either stretching themselves too thin financially or stretching themselves too thin like logistics wise, and just like taking on like a lot more than they can handle?
Yeah, that's the classic ball python, I guess ball python syndrome or whatever you want to call it. You get one, next thing you know, you got 200. It's just like that, like so fast. People go on buying sprees. Racks make it easy to seem like, oh, I don't have that many. It's just one rack in my bedroom. But like that's 70 snakes or 80 snakes or whatever, the 40 snakes, So I think people get in over their heads really quick. They don't realize, well, I have 200 snakes, but that means you need 200 rats a week. That means you need close to 1,000 rats a month. Like that's a lot of rats, when you're starting to talk those kind of numbers, and people start to go like, oh, wait a second. Well, how much is a rat? Well, depending where you are, maybe $3. So now you're talking $3,000 a month potentially to feed those snakes. And unless you're breeding your own, and people kind of go like, oh shit, like I didn't think it was going to be like this. And that's what really burns them out. I think that's the number one thing is people get in over their head too quick, too much, too fast. Mark Mandic has talked about this before. Grow into business, don't go into business.
100%.
You know, it's just perfect. I like that phrase. I like that slogan, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think there's a lot there to be said. You know, growing into it. A lot of the guys that I have the best relationships with, not that there's some new guys that I get along with great, no problem at all. But a lot of the guys that I really like talk to on a like a deeper level have been doing this for a long time now. They started off with a couple snakes, they bred a couple, you know, it grew into it. And they have been around since I've been around. I remember them since I was around. You know, one of those examples is Nicole Lyons. Canadian Regis, fantastic breeder up here. She makes some incredible stuff, and she's just a cool person. She's just a good person, you know. And so that we click, we talk quite a bit, and she's been around. I remember her on like the forums. I remember seeing like Canadian Regis, and I'd see her posting. I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this chick? Like, what does she have? She has nice stuff. And you know, and then we didn't talk for a few years. You know, the market was kind of slow, and everyone was kind of just doing their own thing, and I'm happy to see her having success now because she's grown into what she has. She just built a new rodent facility, rodent building, and she's got like this, she's killing it. She's killing it, and that's so refreshing to see someone who's been around for this long, like just every year do better. You should not be in a race with anybody else. Don't worry about that guy hitting it first or that you hit it second or hit it third. Who gives a shit? It's just if you want to make that snake and that's your goal, great. Everything else, the only reason people want to be first, there's two reasons. One is money. I want to be there first. I want to market it first. I'm the only one with the project, and boom, I blow it out. I control the price. That's the main reason that people want to be first. Second reason people want to be first is because they just want to see it quickly. And that one I think is like, it kind of floats in both. Like you want to see it first, but you also want to make money with it. I get it. I get that whole like dance that we play, but really, if you know DG Hypo Puzzle, like I would have loved to make that first. But I want to make a DG Hypo Puzzle. I think it's a cool project. I was so stoked for Miguel to hit that thing, bro. He was calling me, like, dude, I think I hit one. I'm like, no fucking way. Like, sending me pictures. I'm like, dude, that's it. 100%. No way that's not. And like, I'm hyped for him. I want to see it. That's part of it. Like, I want you to make one just so I can see it, you know, regardless of what you sell it for or whatever. That's all whatever. That all balances itself out over years, you know? But sometimes just, the majority of the reasons is a lot of people want to be first to a project and race to race a project as fast as possible. When you see that, it's because of money. That's really what it comes down to. Because if we're being totally honest with ourselves, and this is hard to do, and I struggle with it myself, but growing a ball python to 2,500 grams in 24 months is not healthy for that snake. That is straight up, you're power feeding that animal strictly to get eggs as quick as possible. You will not convince me any otherwise that it's not good for the animal. There is very, very few pythons out there that will do well. Just feed. It's not a good thing for the snake. Let's be serious. Breeding males at 6 months. It's a little like, okay, man, if you replace that with dogs. You said, I'm going to breed my dog at 2 years old. Male's got to be breeding at 6 months. People be like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? You know,
100%.
Everybody chill the fuck out. It's not a race. Who cares? Why? What? Go ahead. Make the first cool new puzzle combo that I'm trying to make. All right, cool. I get to see it. And if it sucks, I can pivot before I have to make it. But if it's great, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm right there. You know, why are we trying to just power feed everything? Craziness. But hey, man, I get it. I understand why people do it. I'm not innocent. I'm not sitting here saying I've never raised snakes fast. You know, I'm absolutely not saying that, because I have. But it's just the fucking truth. Like, raising them that quick is not. How many snakes that get to 2,500 grams see 15 years old? I have no idea. But that's just how we are as a market, which I don't know. It's not my favorite. That aspect I don't love. That like race, feed. You know, these things can use a break of you could these things can take a week or two. You know, skip a week feeding, man. It's okay. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt your bottom line at the end of the day. You know, it's craziness, but hey,
and
whatever.
if you need more motivation than just like doing the best thing for the animals, like skipping a week feeding, that week cleaning after that is like so much easier. Like when you
it's
skip,
light work, isn't it?
It's light work. Like light work for sure, man. So we talked a little bit at the beginning about like how everybody kind of came in the market and like they had like these expectations and stuff like that. And I know you've mentioned before, but like tell us your thoughts on like how like the bigger breeders or like the OGs, like what's their role in setting expectations for the people. In fact, like Corey just put in the chat right now, join the RCR Mafia, which is your Patreon, and you get this kind of knowledge every day. And so like I know I've seen stuff, I see the stuff you post in there and whatnot, and a lot of people benefit like from your Patreon. But talk about kind of like their responsibility in your mind in terms of setting expectations.
I 100%. I think the bigger guys have to be set expectations. Quit trying to sell a dream and sell reality. Explain to people when they're coming. Oh, it's so easy to see the big house, the fancy cars, they're traveling, they're doing this. Look at how amazing. This is what all ball pythons breeders are like. Nuh-uh, not a chance. The reality is there was 20 years of scrubbing rat tubs and scrubbing this and scrubbing that. But now that you're in that position, it's very easy to sell that dream, right? I really think we got to just take a step back when people come to you. Hey, if I buy some snakes and I want to get into breeding, what's the best way for me to do it? The number one question you should be asking that person is, what do you like? What is, there's so many options. I can tell you what I think will be worth money in 5 years. But again, that's just my opinion. Everyone's got one. It's like an asshole. Everyone's got a fucking opinion. You know, who cares? What my opinion is, what do you like? If you like that project and you really want to do like whatever G-stripe clown combos, or you want to make just super hurricane hypo combos, or whatever the fuck it is, that's what you should be doing, not chasing the rest of the market. That's ridiculous. It's, first of all, when you start out, if you're starting out today and you're like, I'm going to chase, I want to catch up to Levance. Well, good fucking luck. Me too. You know what I mean? It's
good
like,
luck, baby.
you don't have to catch Levance. You get to be your own person. Levance is he's his own guy. You know, he does his own thing, beats to his own drum. That's what everybody should be doing. Instead of trying to catch him, think I can take inspiration from some of the stuff he's done. Oh, that combo, I really liked how that turned out. I'm going to incorporate it into stuff I'm working with. That's what you should be doing. And I think that's the ultimate recipe for success. Because if you do what you like, you're always successful with it. You know?
100%. 100%.
There's genes I don't like, but people sell the shit out of them. I don't have them because I don't want them. I don't like them. You know?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just, yeah, just that was pretty much it. There's certain genes I just don't have because they don't interest me, you know? And that's, hey, have I missed out on sales because of, you know, if I had have bought that gene 3 years ago, I could be making these today. Sure. But if I had have done that, I wouldn't be making some of the stuff I am today. So where do you know? I don't know.
Yeah, 100%, man. You actually pulled a question like right out of my head that I was thinking about asking you in terms of like how do you define success like in this business, like outside of the profit margin? But you just spoke right to it.
Yeah, I guess everyone's gonna have a different definition of success. A lot of people, it's strictly how much paper can you stack, and to me, that takes there's a portion of that I consider successful. Like especially if this is your full-time thing, you kind of have to be able to make some money. If you're not making money, well, in the rest of the world's eyes, that business is not very successful, right? When you talk about business, it's about money, but dude, I actually have way more pie than people think. Like way more. But yeah, it's like, what do you define as successful? I guess. Is this a hobby that you enjoy with your kids, and your kids love doing it, and you guys go into the snake room and spend time together? Bro, that's super successful. That alone right there is to me I would consider successful. You found a common ground with your loved one or your kids or your whatever. Or is this you really wanted to explore, you wanted to get over your fear of snakes, and so you got some ball pythons, you start working with them. Dude, success story right there. You're not scared of snakes anymore. Great. There's so much to what is success in this industry. Way too many people think it's, well, you made cool looking snakes. It's like, yeah, but there's, like I said before, there's no difference between making some crazy, whatever is the newest, craziest clown combo as there is to making like a champagne pewter lesser enchi yellow belly. Like, that's just as hard to do. It might not look as visually appealing, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's a level of success. Like there's like, I think it goes back to the breeder, the in business, it's gonna be money related. I think, unfortunately, that's not how I view things. There's definitely that aspect. It's a piece of the pie. It's not the whole thing. I look at people like, have you had a fulfilling career? Have you enjoyed what you've done? If yes, okay, cool. That's definitely a form of success. Have you been able to travel when you wanted to travel? Has anything really held you back? Like, no? Okay, well, that's a form of success. So I guess my question to you is, this is the perfect, how do you define success in this industry? Because it might be different than how I do, or how everybody else in this chat might define it totally different.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, what keeps me going, and we talked about this a little bit earlier too, like, but what keeps me going is being happy with what I'm doing, right? Obviously there is like a financial aspect of it, you know what I'm saying? You got like all these expenses and stuff you got to cover, so you obviously want to cover that stuff, but at the end of the day, like, is this something that I want to be doing? Am I happy? Am I doing right by people? Like, all those things, like, it's really not all just financially driven. Right. Sometimes you can get stressed out about little stuff. Like, for example, I was thinking like a few weeks back, and I was like, man, I got to do a better job, like, just appreciating the small things, right? Because I was stressed out about some stuff was bothering me and whatnot, and so it's easy when you get stressed out about stuff like that to kind of like focus on, okay, this is wrong, I don't like how this is going. But if you turn your gaze and look at all the things that are going right, then you realize quickly, I know at least in my case, I realized quickly it's way more things to be thankful for and to be appreciative of and have like that gratitude than it is like those few things that I'm not happy with, right? And so if you spend more time focusing on that stuff and like pulling in that energy, I feel like you'll be a lot better off.
Yeah, 100%. Like, again, I don't know what, everyone's gonna have a different definition of success in all aspects of life. What makes you a successful? Are you a successful husband? Are you a successful father? Are you successful? Like, there's so many different things that I don't know what is success. I don't know. But I've always looked at it like, chase the project and the money will follow it. It's always has. Or when I'm sitting there years ago, when I was sitting there making double hat DG puzzles, I wasn't thinking about money. I was like, man, I think DG puzzle is gonna look cool. I want to make that. So I made the hats. Then when I hit it and it did look cool, then the money started to flow in. But it wasn't like people were banging down my door for my first double hats. No, not at all. Nobody gave a shit. I posted them. People were like, oh yeah, that might be cool. You know, that was years and years and years ago. And then you hit the DG puzzle and you started to show the actual visual and what it can do. And then everybody was like, oh, okay, hang on a second. And then they wanted to spend money. So chase the project, money will follow it, you know, as long as that, and that's that artistry. Now, I had a bit of a cheat code there, like DG Clown, DG Puzzle, like just DG that shit, man. It's going to work. You know, it was pretty easy. It's a little tougher now, I think. But yeah, there's still tons and tons of cool stuff to make. Tons.
100%. Like Levance always say, you got to put in the work.
There's nothing else. You got nothing if you don't do that. That's for sure. Yeah, man.
100%. Well, bro,
put that work in. Yeah.
100%. Bro, this has been an amazing conversation. I already knew it was going to be. Definitely appreciate you sliding through. Before we do let you get out of here, though, is there anything that you want folks to know? You want to pump your socials, all that good stuff?
Nah.
Everybody know where you at.
No, everybody go check out Mike, bro. That's where you need to be. Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, Royal King Reptiles on Instagram, Facebook. Don't bother checking YouTube because I haven't posted on that in a long time. We'll get the Patreon if it's something you're interested in. No problem. If not, no problem. That's, you know, it is what it is. Enjoy it. Have fun.
And I can vouch for the Patreon. I think I'd have been in the Patreon like probably almost 4 years too in that Patreon.
Yeah, even a minute. Yeah, you probably got a fat stack of credit. Yeah. In this market, I'm terrified if some people come knocking. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's fun. I'm not like the most active Patreon, not even close. It's not like I have like a weekly seminar about how to ID your hypos. No, I think everyone's an adult and everyone's got stuff on the go. I get busy, you know, I forget about things, but I think everybody seems to have a good time. I from my understanding, I don't know. Maybe they don't.
It's the most active Discord I've seen. And
is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, legit. For sure. Bro, I appreciate you coming out, man. Definitely looking forward to doing it again too. In the future.
For sure.
Appreciate everybody for sticking with us throughout the night, man. We had like 70+ people in here all night. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. And big shout out to the replay game. You check out the replay. Drop us a comment. Let us know you're here. This episode going to be available on all the major podcast platforms. Shortly, I'll upload it after the show, but I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us. But that's it for tonight, man. For Clutch Conversations, I'm Mike. It's the homie Will, the lovely lady behind the scenes. It's the car. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Flu game, baby.